guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be giving our living room a little DIY makeover on a budget. And this video is filled with easy and budget-friendly DIYs that I think will give you a ton of modern farmhouse decorating ideas, as well as DIY inspiration for your living room. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Okay guys, so it is almost 10 o'clock at night and I am working on the first project in my DIY living room makeover, and that is adding some faux brick to the inside of my fireplace. I think it's going to make it look much more realistic. And this is just one thing that I wanted to work on for fall. And I have some tutorials on my channel on how I did this, but I wanted to do one that was more in depth. So what I did here is I measured my bricks and I did them 3 inches tall by 8 inches across. And just a heads up, I already made one little, I don't even want to call it a mistake, but I should have painted this black part white, and that would have saved me a lot of time so that the grout lines were already white after I took the tape off, but it's not a big deal. I'll just go in and paint the grout lines white. Luckily, this is not a huge wall like I have done in the past, so it won't take me a ton of time. So at this point, all I have done is measured and taped out the bricks, and my bricks are 3 inches tall by 8 inches wide. They're not perfect, but I do it the best that I can, and I think it looks really good. So after you go in and tape them, you add the joint compound with one of these putty knives. And I get everything for this project at Walmart. I get this joint compound. You want to get the lightweight joint compound from Walmart. I usually get a pack of 3 of these, and then also the tape size is very important. You want to get the 18 millimeter by 50, and that size tape will just get you the most realistic grout line size. And to do my measuring, I use this level, which I also bought at Walmart, so it just helps me measure and also keep things as level as possible. So the measuring and taping is definitely the most time consuming and precise part. And now I'm going to add the joint compound, and I'm just going to open this up and add it with this putty knife, and you spread it on, and then when it's still wet, you take the tape off. And you want to take it off when it's still wet, because when this stuff dries, it is like a rock, and you don't want it to dry and dry over the tape. So let me get the joint compound open and I'll show you what that looks like and then how I apply it. It applies pretty easily, and as far as the thickness, I try to explain it as if you are icing a cupcake. So that's about the amount that you want to add to your wall, and then you're going to just take the tape off right after you apply it. So I'll show you how I do that. Alright, so when this stuff is wet, it's really easy to just wipe off, so you can just, I don't know, I probably should have used a paper towel, but anyway, you can just wipe that up. But if you see how I applied it, kind of going in a lot of different directions, so when it dries, it's going to show all of this detail, and that's what you want, so it looks more realistic and like brick. You don't want it to be like super flat and all going the same way, so you can be messy with this, and it's just a really forgiving project going forward. All right, I completely covered the inside and all of the tape with the joint compound, and it took me exactly one whole case of this. If you're gonna do a wall, you're definitely gonna need at least 3 to 4 cases of the joint compound. And now if you can see here, I left little portions of the tape sticking out so I can pull that off. So while the joint compound is still wet, I'm gonna remove the tape and then let this dry overnight. All right, so it is the next day and I wanted to just show you that this is completely dry and how it looks when it's dry. If you can see here, I have a lot of texture added onto there and it is rock solid. So we are ready to paint, and I'm going to paint in all of the grout lines, the black ones, with this white chalk paint just because I had it on hand. And I'm just going to use a paintbrush, and I am going to be really messy with this because I'm going to go over the bricks with some brown paint after this dries, so I don't have to be really exact, which is really nice. I never know how fast to edit the clips when I'm doing something mundane like painting in these videos. I never want it to feel like I'm wasting anyone's time, but on the other hand, I personally find watching people paint very relaxing. So let me know for next time. Do you guys prefer when I speed through painting, or do you like watching? Let me know because it's always something that I'm so unsure of when I'm editing. Now I'm just going in with a little sponge brush to apply the brown paint over the bricks, and I like to use a sponge brush for this because it allows me to apply in really light layers, whereas a regular paintbrush I found applies a bit heavier, and I also have found that it's more likely to drip using a regular paintbrush versus the sponge. I've used a light brown color for the brick walls I did in our house, but for the fireplace I decided to use a dark brown just so that the brick would stand out inside the fireplace because it's not going to get a ton of natural light in there, and I didn't want the bricks to get lost. And unfortunately, this paint was just a random sample I found in our garage, so I don't have a name for you guys, but painting the bricks is so forgiving, especially if you are going to whitewash over it. So any shade of brown will really work for this project, and I've even had people tag me in their own DIY brick projects, which I love when you guys do that. I will insert my Instagram handle here in case you're not already following me, but I've had people actually use gray for their bricks, and I think it looks so awesome. It really just depends on what your color palette is in your home. And now I'm just going to let this dry for a few hours, and then I will go over it with the same white chalk paint that I used for the grout, and I will kind of water that down a little bit and then whitewash the bricks. So I added just a splash of water in with the chalk paint, and it's just enough to make it a little more fluid so it applies as a lighter layer on the brick. And I do use a regular paintbrush for this step, and I go in lightly, just dipping the tip of the brush in the paint, and then I wipe it off lightly before applying it with a light hand over the brick. I was using an extra light hand for this because I really wanted a light whitewash look, but of course if you want more coverage then you can just keep on going in and adding more, but I always like to err on the side of adding less because you can't take the paint off, but you can always add more on top. Okay, so while the bricks finish drying, we are switching gears and getting my DIY curtains ready to go. And for this, I'm using a 9 by 12 foot drop cloth, and I'm gonna be hanging this over my sliding doors, or I guess hanging it next to my sliding doors. I use this method for all of the curtains in our house. It is so affordable and I love how it looks. I will link everything I used to make these DIY drop cloth curtains in the description box below in case you are interested. So I personally like to wash my drop cloths before hanging them, and I use one of these OxyClean whitening tabs, and then after that I'll just pop it in the dryer, and that just helps remove any of the fold lines and wrinkles. Okay, moving on to project number 3 for my living room, and that is painting this end table a lighter brown color. I think it will make this table just pop more overall, and I'm using the same brown paint that was used on my mantle and the shelves on my living room just to give this space more of a cohesive look. And the method that I'm using here is called washing, and to do this you add a light layer of water to the wood before you add the paint. And what this is going to do is help it look like you stained the piece of wood versus just painted over it.
Turn the tide, let the water go where it wants to go. You can run and hide, you can bury yourself beneath the stones. Somebody told me don't pretend, 'cause everyone could use a friend sometimes. Take some good advice. Don't let your fear decide. That's how you break inside. You don't need to worry. Somebody's waiting down the line. You pick up the pieces. Hey, you'll be alright. Feel the sun and how the wind makes way across the fields. Let me take a breath. Let me be a part of something real. Someone said it's better when you hold on to a helping hand. Sometimes could all use a friend. Don't let your fear decide. That's how you break inside. You don't need to worry.
And here's the final look. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I love that the grains of the wood didn't get lost in the paint. And I also wanted to mention that I got an eggshell finish so that I would still be able to clean off the table. One of the reasons I wanted to give our living room a little makeover is so I could add some cozy touches to get ready for fall and Christmas decorating. I can't wait to show you what I have planned for our fireplace for fall. And I also have an early fall home tour that I will be posting Wednesday, showing you even more early fall decorating ideas. I know you guys really enjoyed the first one, so this will be a part 2. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss that. And I have a whole list of fun fall DIYs and decorating ideas to share with you guys this season. It's going to be so much fun. And so just in preparation for adding a little bit more color and decor in my home for the holidays, I'm redecorating my shelves using whites and tans and just little pops of green here and there. This way I can easily incorporate pumpkins on here when it gets just a little bit closer. I found these wood pieces at Michael's and I'm spray painting them black and letting them dry, and later I will show you how I'm using them for another easy DIY in the living room. And my husband was nice enough to help me hang our new curtain rod. I've always wanted to do some kind of curtain here, and I never actually intend on using them. I am such a big fan of natural light, but I do think that having a window treatment over this will just add a very cozy element to our living room and just make this wall appear not as plain and unfinished. So to hang the curtain on the rod, I'm going to fold it in half and then hang it in sections using these little clips. You can also fold the curtain over at the top like I did for our bedroom curtains, but this one just wasn't quite long enough for that, so I ended up just clipping them right at the hem. For this DIY, it's a really simple trick that I like to use to transform furniture and even little pieces of decor like this crate, and I'm simply just adding some legs to change the look. I knew I wanted to use this crate on my newly painted end table, but I wanted it to stand out a little bit, and a great way to do that is by adding some height. I'm just hot gluing everything together. It was so easy, simple, affordable, and as you'll see, it just gives this piece a fresh new look. Okay, so here is the final living room makeover. Just a side note, the picture on my TV always shows up with a pink tone on camera, which is so annoying because it's not pink at all in person. So just ignore that. But I love how cozy the space feels, and the faux brick made this fireplace look so much more realistic. And I love how finished the sliding glass door area looks now that the window treatment is up. Like I said, I will link everything I can in the description box down below if you've seen anything here that you would like to do yourself and try to recreate. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Your support means so much to my little channel, and I just really appreciate all of your support. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thanks again for watching, and I will see you on Wednesday.